How to Train Your Dragon just turned 20 years old. I can't believe it. I began writing How to Train Your Dragon. This is the very first edition of How to Train Your Dragon over 25 years ago, amazingly. Started writing it because I just had a baby. And there's a moment when you've just had a baby when you look in the back of the car and you think they're going to let me out of hospital with a baby. And so you start finding out about babies and looking back to your own childhood. And I started looking back to my own, so it really could be How to Train Your Baby, this book. I started looking back to my own childhood, and I grew up in London in a house without a garden, but my dad was this mad keen bird watcher. So every year from when I was a baby, we would be dropped off on this uninhabited island off the west coast of Scotland, an island so small that when you stood on the top of it, you could see sea all around you. And there was nothing on that island, no houses, no Tesco's, no mobile phones. This is the Isle of Burgh in How to Train a Dragon. And Stoic Vast is my father, really. And so it's a story about a real island in Scotland, Viking Scotland, because that was the first place the Vikings came to when they invaded Great Britain. It was the last place they left, that part of Scotland. So real Vikings lived on that island once upon a time. And my dad, in this little house with no electricity, used to tell me stories that were descended from Viking times, from the islands round about. So the island in the story is a real island, and the father in a story is a real father, my father. And I suppose Hiccup is kind of me. I love my father very much, but I wasn't a bit like him. So it's a story about a child and a father, not quite like each other, but sort of loving each other very much. And that's the story, How to Train Your Parent. Yeah, this is a picture of me, age 9, on that little island a long time ago. So yeah, so the books really are all about being a parent and what kind of a parent you want to be. And I guess Hiccup is sort of being a parent to Toothless. And so at the time, as I started writing the story, and the kids got older, and Hiccup talking to the Toothless is often me talking to my 2-year-old or my 3-year-old or my 4-year-old. But it's very nostalgic looking back and seeing this book, because I remember, I never thought that this book was going to be, so successful or made into movies and television. And if you could have told me 20 years ago, when this was finally published, that that was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed it.